Hi everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp and welcome back to my channel. So today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Creative Stamping magazine, and this is issue 100 and this is a huge sort of bumper gift with this. So let's take a look at the stamp sets just to begin with. So what we've got here is actually four different stamp sets by Crafter's Companion. So we've got two A4 sheets, and this is when we looked at what was going to be included in this issue in the last Creative Stamping magazine. I honestly didn't really think this was going to be that big. Obviously I know they do A4 stamp sets, but in my mind the images just really weren't going to be of this size, and I am absolutely loving just how big they are. I'm loving the really big sentiment stamps they've got in here as well. So like I said, there's four different sort of styles in here, so there'll be something for everybody, so you can make lots of different Christmas cards with these sets. So let's start with this first one. So this is called Nature's Garden Nativity, and I think this is so beautiful. This is a lot more kind of traditional. This is going to be a lot more you know, if you've got somebody who maybe goes to church, things like that, this is going to be perfect. So we've got a couple of really big sentiment stamps, like I said, in here with the different fonts. So we've got Come Let Us Adore Him, and you've got just some extra little detail included in that stamp. We've got Peace on Earth again, and then we've got that sort of little dove in there. Christmas Blessings, Believe in the Miracle, and Remember the Reason for the Season. So I just really love these. And then we've got some silhouette stamps here, and then we've got this really lovely sort of different kind of image here. We're going to be using that on today's card. Then this one down the bottom, this is called Glittering Snowflakes collection. So obviously Crafter's Companion bring out lots of different big collections. Obviously this is bits and pieces from those. So if you search Nature's Garden Nativity, you will find other products. They might not be sort of the same size or anything, but they are of the same collection as what these are. So this one here, like I said, this is Glittering Snowflakes. So in here we have got a Christmas tree, we've got lots of different styles and size snowflakes. That's going to be perfect for creating a really fun background. We've got these baubles, so that is just one stamp there. So we've got some really lovely sentiments in here. So we've got Deck the Halls, Kindness is like snow, it beautifies all that it touches. That's really lovely. Snowflakes are kisses from heaven, I really like that one. And Enjoy the wonders of the season. So again, lots of different kind of fonts in there mixed together, and you've got some really great sizes. And as I said then, you do have your Christmas tree, and there's just another one there, sorry, that I missed, Let It Snow. So what I think I'm going to be doing is I'm going to make 4 videos to cover all 4 of these stamp sets. So I'm not going to mix them together. For today's card we're going to be using this set up here. I thought it'd be nice to use each set and really kind of show those off. So then this set up here, this is called Cute Christmas. So this isn't kind of part of a collection. This is just, you know, a Crafter's Companion stamp set. But again, some really big images. I am loving big images at the moment. Sometimes I find much smaller images a lot more fiddly to kind of colour, but I really love having kind of big images that fill your cards a lot better, so you don't always have to have sort of so much on there. But on here again, mainly we've got images on here, but we've got Festive Wishes and Snowflake Kisses and Snow Much Fun. We've got a couple of different snowflakes in there again, but we've got this really cute penguin. He's got his Christmas hat and his Christmas jumper on. We've got this snowman who has gone skiing, so you've got again the hat, the earmuffs, you've got the scarf in there, and then we do have Santa checking his list. And again, not kind of traditional in the sense, as it says Cute Christmas, and you've got, you know, just a really cute kind of Santa there, and then we've got his sack of presents as well. And then this bottom one again, so like I said, very different sets, and you will find or you'll be able to make a card for everybody because these are all completely different. So this one down here, we've got Enchanted Christmas. So again, that'll be part of one of their collections. So here we've just got a silhouette. So what I'm thinking with this one already is we're going to do an ink blended background. We're going to create something really special there, and then we'll be able to kind of stamp these and create a scene. So you've got a couple of deers in here, you've got kind of this big tree, and you've got a smaller one there, so again you'll be able to stamp a scene. You've got quite a big elf silhouette there. We've got just some little flourishes and a bit of foliage there, and then you do have a sleigh with the reindeer as well that you can pop into the background, so I think that's really fun. And then again, a couple of sentiments: making spirits bright, sparkle all away, and wishing you a magical Christmas. But don't forget, you can of course mix and match. If there is a sentiment that you like from one of these, you want to put it with the other, you know, you can sort of bring all these together. But again, what I love is this is kind of 4 different collections, they're 4 different styles, and that's why I said I want to create a card for each of these. Maybe we'll have one, you know, where we mix them together maybe, but I think I want to use these as sort of a separate stamp sets. So again, because this is the 100th issue of Creative Stampin', they've really kind of given you a bumper value, I guess. And so it says on here you get 56 stamps altogether, and that is just absolutely incredible. So I'm really excited to actually create some cards with this. For the moment, let's just take a quick look in the magazine. So let's just take a quick look in our magazine. So this first one here, this is Let It Snow. So this is going to be using that cute Christmas. We've got obviously colouring in, masking an image, so you can do some ink blending in the background. We've got, of course, actually just creating that full background and adding that snowman on top of these. Absolutely perfect. You know, using them to heat emboss. So you've got this star here, and then you've got that sack of presents. So, you know, you can use bits and pieces of it. You don't need to use the big sort of main elements. All of the stamps can be used to create your cards. So again, we've got then using our Santa there with one of the sentiments, so that's just being coloured in. And of course then, so this is using some patterned paper, but of course you could just create your own pattern paper with the stamps that are included. And we've got a really beautiful kind of layered, there's a lot more going on with this one, but I think it works so nicely together. You've got different papers in there. Of course, we've got our little penguin, and I think that's absolutely a perfect example of how you can use all of these sets. But not just that, you can use it, of course, to create Christmas decorations. You've got a gift card holder, a snowflake wreath, you've got shaker baubles, so using a bit of shrink plastic to create wine glass charms. That would be really fun. If you're hosting Christmas this year, you could do something like that. You could put a tag on there with someone's name on it if you wanted to create, you know, a seat-in plan type of thing. You know, you really can use these for, yeah, look, just lots of different things at Christmas. So again, then we have another bunch of cards. This is using, so this is called Merry and Bright, but this is then, again, just using some more of those other stamp sets. So you've got some pieces in there from that Nativity set. We've got the bits from the Enchanted Christmas in there. And again, then just going back to that cute Christmas as well. So let's take a look at what comes included in the next issue of Creative Stampin'. So now we're really going to be on to our sort of Christmas sets. So this in here is called Festive Florals. So it looks like you get quite a lot of stamps in this one, but we've got loads of different kinds of foliage in here. So you can create your wreaths. You've got little bundles already created for you here, but you've got some flowers, some sort of orange segments and cinnamon, very traditional for at Christmas. And then we've also got an exclusive 12-piece stamp set by Texture, so that's from Lou Collins, and these are called Seasonal Sentiments. So we've got again some really lovely script font in here, but we've got some quite different fonts as well, so you'll be able to make up your sentiments there. So as I said, we're going to be using the Nature's Garden Nativity stamp set for today's card. But like I said, please look out for the other videos using then those other sets as well, because I really, really want to make sure I use all of them. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've got a few different elements for my card today, but the first thing I'm going to do is actually stamp our main image. And I'm going to be stamping this image here of Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus. So I'm going to pop that into my Misty here. We're going to do a little bit of a simple alcohol colouring. So I am going to use my Memento Tuxedo black ink for this. And I'm going to stamp this twice. So I've decided to make 2 Christmas cards because while we've got all this stuff out, why not make 2? And then I can actually use these as this year's Christmas cards. So all I've done is just rotated my cardstock there, and then we can stamp this again. So this is quite a thick line. I'm not really pushing down very hard on that stamp. But let's make sure that we get it kind of as even as possible. So I've stamped this onto some Nina cardstock, so this is going to be ideal for using our alcohol markers. So while I've got my Misty out, I am going to stamp my sentiment as well. So I'm going to be stamping my sentiment onto a piece of vellum, and we're going to be heat embossing this with some gold embossing powder. So I'm just going to use my anti-static powder bag just to begin with, just so we get none of that embossing powder anywhere where we don't want it. So the sentiment I'm going to use today is Believe in the Miracle. So I'm going to stamp that kind of in the middle because I'm not sure how I want to actually put it onto my card for the moment. But I think it's going to come in from the right, so I want to make sure I have some nice space on that other side. I'm going to use my Simon Says Stamp Clear Sticky Embossing Ink. Let's just stamp that. So I want to make sure that I get a good stamp so I can use my gold embossing powder. And what I'm going to do just super quick is I'm just going to turn that over. I'm going to use my anti-static powder bag again, and we're just going to ink this up and stamp it again. I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of, so this is just a piece of vellum here, and I'm just going to sprinkle on my gold embossing powder. So now I'm just going to go ahead and heat set there. So there is our gold heat embossed sentiment onto that vellum, and I just think that looks absolutely beautiful. And this is now going to give it a chance to cool down before we need to sort of trim this out at all. So I'm going to pop that to one side for the moment. So the next thing I'm going to do is create a background. So I've got this Sizzix embossing folder. So I wanted to just have a little bit of design just behind. So I've got a piece of 160 GSM cardstock here, just something slightly thicker. And I'm going to run both of these pieces of white card through my die cutting machine with this embossing folder. So here we have our embossed background. So this again is just going to add a nice little bit of detail behind there. So for my card base, I've created a top folding A2 size card, and I've cut this from some navy blue cardstock by Craft Perfect because I really wanted to just have that kind of coloured base. So now we've got our card bases done, we have got our backgrounds done. Now I just want to create a simple matte unlayer in between those two. We're going to use some of this rich gold cardstock here. Okay, so I trimmed down my Miri card. So now we've got our 3 layers, our card base, our gold matte, and then our embossed background there. So before we put our actual card together, we do need to colour in our images here. So the colours that I'm going to be using to colour these in, so I picked up recently some new Copic sketch colours. So to colour in Joseph, I'm going to use BG 72, 75 and 78. For Mary, I have got V22, V25 and V28. We're gonna use some of the tri-blend markers. So I've got the Fair Skin blend, obviously for their faces and hands, and then I've got the gold yellow blend, which we're gonna colour in the baby's robes. So let's get these guys actually coloured in. So I'm just gonna start off with their skin. So there I've just coloured in that one, and I think that looks so cute. Obviously you can colour these in exactly how you want to. I love the fact that they don't have any faces because it means you don't have to worry about any of that detailing. But that was just some really simple colouring there, simple shading, but I think it looks really effective. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and colour in the second one, and then all I'm going to do is just fussy cut around this, and it's going to be so easy because it's a really simple shape. Okay, so now we have our two pieces. So these are all coloured in and now cut out. So I didn't leave a white gap. I literally just cut right up to that black outline. But these are so easy to cut out. You could do either or. So what I want to do, first of all, before obviously putting our cards together, is I want to work out exactly how I want my card front to look. Okay, so I've picked out some of my twine. So I showed you this in a recent haul video. This was the white mixed with the gold. I've got some with silver as well, but obviously the gold I thought would go much nicer because we've got then that gold mirror card as well. Okay, so I've got my length of ribbon, and I don't think I want to add a bow onto this one because we've got our sentiment to go on as well. So all I'm going to do is let's just wrap that around and sort of see how this looks. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not looking for anything kind of perfect there. And then I'm just gonna snip off the ends. So that's how we have got the front looking. Our toppers just there like that. Then we can bring back in our vellum. So I want to keep this edge because I'm going to wrap it around, and all I'm going to do is just rip this. We're going to rip from the bottom as well, so we've got some of that same sort of white edge to it. So I've just folded over our vellum, and that's how it's gonna sit around. But now what I need to do is take some foam pads, and I'm gonna have to cut these up really tiny, just to put behind some of these thicker pieces of the lettering, so we can really let that kind of hold itself up. So I'm just gonna take some foam squares, and I'm hoping that this is going to be small enough so you don't see it. So here you can see I've added just 3 pieces of foam tape, and I'm really hoping that these are going to be small enough where you're not going to see it through that vellum. So I'm just going to take the backs off these. Then I'm going to add some liquid glue just to that little tab there. I'm actually going to put these on my reverse tweezers just so I can really kind of get that placement just right. We're going to fold over our back. Okay, so just with a little bit of fiddling, I've got that on there. I did add an extra piece of foam tape just on the top of the bee to hold that down a little bit, but I'm happy with that. So the trick is with this, what we don't want is for your foam tape to be right over your twine, and that will then stop it from kind of really sitting nice and flat, kind of where we want it to be. So with now our toppers, I'm going to add some foam tape to this, just because we do want to get that little bit of dimension, because we've got that embossed background as well. I think we are definitely going to need it. So let's add our topper, and I'm just slightly going to just add it underneath our vellum sentiment there. So there we have these bits. So now what I'm going to do, again, just because we've got this texture, we've got our twine just there, I'm going to add some foam to the back of this. So now we're going to add our panel onto our gold mirror card. And that's just going to tie in all of that gold really beautifully. So there we have our two sort of panels now. They are matte and layered, but what I want to do before we actually pop them onto the cards, I wanted to stamp a sentiment to the inside. So I'm going to take, we've got Christmas blessings, and then we've got just this like North Star here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp those. So I've got those in there. So what I'm going to try and do and stamp it with this white ink pad. So I've never had massive successes with this white ink, but let's give it a go. We can always sort of stamp back over it. So we might have to do this a few times. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that. So it's not stamped perfectly, but that's okay. It is just the inside of the card. Okay, so now we can go ahead and finish these off. I'm going to just use a little bit of liquid glue just to add our panels onto our cards. The last thing I'm going to do is just add a few of these ivory seashells. So I'm not going to add any more gold because it's got quite a bit of gold on there kind of already. So just added a few of those Nouveau drops in there. That is then going to be our card all finished. So there's our finished card. You've seen there it doesn't really take any longer to create two cards than what it does to create one. So while you've got everything out, why not create, you know, sort of multiple cards? And then of course we have got then our stamp on the inside. If you wanted this to stand out a little bit more, you could go over that with a white gel pen. So I may do that, but I'm just gonna leave it for the moment. But I really love how this has come out, and I love creating a colored base. I don't do it very often, but I always do. I think it just makes a little bit of a difference. So that is my cards using one of the stamp sets that came free with issue 100 of Creative Stampin'. So this was using that Nature's Garden Nativity. So like I said, I do plan to use the other 3 stamp set as well. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you get notified when I do upload my next video. If you did like this one, then please give it a thumbs up. It is greatly appreciated and it really helps to support my channel. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks very much for watching and happy crafting.